Welcome to the Coworking Values Podcast. I'm Emily Brader. If you're a community manager struggling with reaching your audience, our latest offering is designed for you. In this 3-month cohort, we will help you build your community, learn practical strategies, and stay motivated with personalized guidance. Join us to transform your workflow and strengthen your community management skills. Look in the description of this podcast for more information on how to sign up.
Hello, folks. It's another swashbuckling episode of the Coworking Values Podcast, and live from her little corner is Jenny. Is it Jenny or Jennifer? It's Jen.
Jenny.
Yeah,
Don't mind. Not Jennifer though. Officially, not Jennifer.
So, Jen, what are you known for, and what would you like to be known for?
Good question. So, what am I known for? I am known for running my little co-working space, Coworking Corner in Matlock in Derbyshire. I am known as a charity agile strategy consultant, and I am known as a travel blogger and hiker. I'm probably known as other things, but that's the main things. But what do I want to be known for? Definitely Coworking Corner and my blog, but also a nature connection facilitator. Retreat space. That's what I'm aiming towards. That's going to be new Jen. Look out over the next few weeks and months. Jen's going to become known for something slightly different as well.
so no more travel blogging, just like nature blogging. And what is so all those things you said there are very interesting, and I'm fascinated always following you on social media, how you intertwine running a co-working space and walking thousands of miles and traveling and stuff like this. So how do you explain a little bit about all these little bits of your life, and how do you get them all to coalesce together?
Yeah, so I guess it's a constant balancing act, but they all kind of support each other in different ways. I've worked for myself in various different forms for the last 9-10 years now, I think. I'm definitely unemployable, I think, in terms of getting a full-time job, as many people who run a business or work for themselves are. And I find that they each kind of flex upwards and downwards depending on often what I focus on more. So, if I really put the time into marketing my co-working space or doing extra stuff, I'm going to get more bookings. If I really start writing loads of blog posts, then I'm probably going to get invited on, or doing more with my Instagram, I get invited on press trips more, or I, earlier this week, reviewed a local restaurant and I make a bit of income from it as well. So, but then if I ignore it for a while, I don't get so much. And then again, with my consultancy work, that's generally my main income. It does go a bit up and down, but they all connect, because the reason I started my co-working space is because my consultancy work used to often be very office-based, working in councils or for charities. I'd be commuting to London every week, or commuting to the Lake District, and then COVID happened, and work went online. And then since COVID, it's often still online, because they're why should we bother pay for our facilitator or consultant or project manager to come into the office when they can just do the job from home, and we don't have to pay for their travel or their accommodation or whatever. And so I was getting quite lonely, I think, at home. And I'd always used co-working spaces when I lived in London. So I was I want one in Matlock, so I'm going to set one up. And I think that's the thing with what I'm trying to do with nature facilitation is that's what I want. Having been on this big hike, which was to raise money and awareness for why we need to look after our national parks, I spent a lot of time outside, and I was I want to be outside more. So how can I bring in work that involves me being outside? So it's all kind of evolves as I evolve and change. And my problem is I'm not very good at letting go of anything. So I just collect more things to do rather than stopping one thing and starting another. So my life becomes this total juggling, balancing act of all these different things. But I love it. And even on the terrible days, I wouldn't have it any other way. And who knows, if I spoke to in a year.
How do you just wake up in the morning and decide what to do that day, or
Sometimes I try and plan each week. So when I'm organised, Sunday evening is my like, right, what am I doing next week? Like, what am I going to fit in? What are my areas of focus? And it'll depend on, if I have lots of consultancy work, then that's going to probably be my focus. If I don't, then I'm like, okay, I'm going to update my co-working website, or I'm going to make sure I do some more social media posts. I'm going to write a couple of blogs. I'm going to do a podcast with Bernie, and just kind of see how I can make it work. And yeah, every day and every week is completely different, and I'm never really sure. I have certain things planned in advance, but most of the things I'm kind of off the hoof, I think.
So because of you, I have this like romantic idea of you, like because you're like an agile scrummy person, you have this amazing Kanban board. Like, do you organize yourself like that, or do you have like post-it notes on the fridge?
No, I do. I use Trello. So sometimes I'm not as up to date with it, but generally I have my Trello board, and I do my weekly Kanban board. And then I also have like a projects board and an ideas one, and I'll try and like move things along. Everything's color coded by like client or topic. Like Coworking Corner has a color, and which kind of matches my branding on Trello, the turquoise.
I do that level of detail too. I know this is very geeky, but like, do you use that on your mobile phone and on your computer, or do you just do it all on your computer?
I generally day to day use it on my computer, but I'll also have it on my phone. So like that would be more like if I think of something that I need to add in, or I want to double check something. I have it on my phone, but I prefer to use it on my computer where I can see like the whole week, and yeah, I can see.
So with this idea of like, the Jen and her co-working nature empire, like, and what you know of planning in that method, can you sort of, because it feels like it could be like building an oil rig and all the steps. I'm like, okay, boys, we're going to build an oil rig, and that might take 5 years to get it all together. I don't know how long it takes to build an oil rig, but you kind of have to have this. You have to move from like action, or thinking ideas into action, and then into the path it's going to take. And when you have these ideas, which could be like, I'm going to walk 1,000 miles. Was it 1,000 miles?
It was 1,000 miles.
Yeah. Like how does that agile methodology, that sounds awful, doesn't it? Agile methodology, like serve those bigger goals in your life?
Yeah, well, that's why I like my Sunday evening planning. So I kind of will look at my backlog of work and projects and ideas and things, and kind of scan through things and decide what I'm putting into the following week, and prioritize things of, there's paid work, there's things that I'm not getting paid for, there's deadlines, there's things that I don't have deadlines for that I might want to kind of set a bit of a deadline for. So I'll have ideas, which then might turn into goals. And then each week I'll break down, like, for that project or that goal or that thing, what is the next thing I need to do? It's not always that exact, but ultimately I like to really break things down. So most of the time, this is when I get a bit OCD with it, I think. But I've got my Kanban board on Trello, and then in my notebook, I'll write at the start of the day or the end of the last day, I'll like plan exactly from that board what I'm doing that day. And sometimes I do it like hour by hour or half hour by, and I include walk the dog and have a lunch break and read for half an hour or whatever. And I'm not always that organized, but I feel so much better when I am. And you get that kind of dopamine hit when you're ticking all those things off, even if you've just got a little. Sometimes I'll even write if there is a particular email I need to write. Like, I won't write every email I need to do, but if there's one that takes some more thinking time or whatever, I'll be like, right, respond to X or send a voice note to this person or whatever it might be. And the thing is, I put everything on there. So I'll also put like, need to buy a birthday present for my mum, or I need to post that thing back, or like my personal stuff, because it all fits together and it's all part of life. And if I don't put that stuff on, I forget about those things, which are often more important than a lot of the work you want to do. So and again, because I have the flexibility, I can do that I could go shopping for a birthday present in the morning if I wanted to. And so it gives me that flexibility. So I love planning, and I feel so much better when I have. And the times when I haven't done it, when life's just been like hectic, I feel like I'm not achieving anything. I just feel a bit of a mess. So yeah, I know I'm so much better when it seems like I spend a lot of time planning, and that's what a lot of people say with agile. It can sometimes feel like a lot of planning, but ultimately I think it saves you time and helps you get stuff done.
It does. And I could say exactly the same thing back to you, because every time I like lose control and hold it all in my head, it's I know it's like spaghetti junction up there.
Exactly.
I have this. This is very geeky. There's a Moleskine book, or Moleskine, or however you say it, and it's the project planner one, and it doesn't have dates in it, but it has like every day has a little section on a page, so you can do like a month and a year, and so, and writing, I did this before and then I stopped doing it. And now I write a little list of everything I need to get done today, even though it's in a digital format, because it's open here on the thing. And when stuff's in an app, it's held there and you've got it out of your brain. But when I can see it next to me, I'll like go, oh, what am I going to do? Oh, look, I've just remembered that I'm podcasting with Jen because I looked at it down here.
Yeah, exactly. I like to write it down as well. Like I like to have both those things, because I can cross things out as the day goes on, and then at the end of the day or the end of the week, I'll be moving stuff into on my digital format as well. And then you get double the dopamine. You know, you got double hits.
That's what I'm after. So going back stuff done. So let's go back to, was it 2020 you started? I remember you popped up somewhere on social media.
2021.
Yeah,
I think so. It's our third birthday on a week today. So yes, that would have been 21. So June, end of June 21.
So how does all that stuff we just talked about? Because we're very interested in, there's so many people I know. You hear all about these bigger co-working spaces with helicopter pads and free beer and stuff, but so many people I know and have met over the years are like you. They're like what I call an owner manager. And there's always this, what's the word? This, like Emily calls it, the whirlwind. It all works, but you end up, because you have to be the community manager and you have to be the chef and you have to be the accountant. And I think when you have people in your building all the time, that community management and kind of relationship building is the most important part. But it's time consuming, and that might sound negative, but it is. You have to put in a lot of time with people to make the magic happen. So can you? There was a question in there somewhere. Sorry, but I'm going to get out of it like this. Like, can you share your experience from like when you first opened up Corner Co-working on the corner, and like how did you build the community and start to organize yourself and transition from being I'm the consultant to I'm a consultant that also accidentally opened a co-working space?
Yeah, so I totally agree on the community building is obviously a big part of it, and it takes up a lot of time, and sometimes it is a juggle when I've got consultant meetings and I don't know what time, like a new co-worker's arriving and I'm going to be in the middle of a meeting when they turn up, and what am I going to do? Like, which do I pause? And it's helped that a lot of my clients know about my co-working space. And so sometimes if that is going to happen, I'll just tell them at the start of a meeting. Sometimes if it is a particularly important meeting, like if I'm, I don't know, in an interview for a contract or something, for example, other co-workers will do that welcoming for me. And I think when I first opened, I was there all the time. So 8:30 till 6 every day, 5 on Fridays, let myself go home early. And I was a bit obsessive about it. Like, even if no one was coming in that day, no one had booked, which at the start I did have a few days when no one was in. And or if like everyone's left by 4:00, I just was kind of like, I have to be there 8:30 till 6, because what if somebody like calls in on their way past at 5:30 after work and they want to like come and have a look round and check out, and my website says I'm open till 6, so I need to be there till 6. And I got quite obsessive about it. But now over time, now that I've built this community, we've got full-timers and lots of regulars. The regulars and full-timers have their own keys, and they know how to lock up and how to shut down, and there's always plenty of cookies in the cupboard if I haven't baked them myself, and there's always stocks of tea and coffee and hopefully everything that they need. I don't feel like I have to be there as much, and most of them are totally fine with, if I say, you know, I've got a meeting but someone's coming in, are you okay to like give them a quick show around? They're happy. So we kind of all do it together, and it feels like that real community space. And when I was on my hike last year, I was away for 10 weeks. And again, kind of I had it run itself. So before I was doing all the cleaning myself, I actually invested in getting a cleaner who came every week. And I had the milk delivered, and like tried to like take things that I was doing kind of off my plate. And since then, people are just used to me. I don't have to be there at 8:30 every morning. So like today, I actually woke up at 4 a.m. for a summer solstice swim at the local Lido, and then promptly went back to bed again.
Wow.
And couldn't get up in time to open up at 8:30. So I didn't turn up until 9:30, and there was 2 people already there, and they just let themselves in, and they're used to that and happy with that now, I think. I still think I need to be there as often as I can. I think it does make a difference. Like even little things, like every time I go and make a cup of tea, I will like wipe the kitchen counter down. Every time I go to the toilet, I'll check that the sink is clean, and, you know, things that other people don't do. And if you don't notice that, when you don't do it for a while, people start to notice. They don't necessarily notice that I do that all the time, but if it doesn't get done, I think people notice. So, and I love it. And they're all my friends now. Like we're thinking of having it's my birthday on Saturday, and my partner and I are thinking of having a barbecue on Sunday. And I was like, who shall I invite? And then I was like, I'm just going to put it in the co-working group, because I think that's who all my friends are. Like, I don't know who else to invite other than my mum and your parents. Like, so we're all friends, and it's, which sometimes makes me nervous, but so far it seems to run smoothly, and people seem to be happy. And yeah.
Can you say about I think this is really nice, how people come, I mean, for people that know what Matlock is, like, can you explain its context in the People's Republic of England, and how people come every Easter to visit and stuff like that?
Yeah, so we're right on the edge of the Peak District National Park, so it's quite a popular kind of holiday destination, I guess. So we get quite a lot of people that come up on holiday every year, or they have family up here, so they come to visit family. And we've got quite a few like return visitors now. So often kind of couples will come up, maybe they're staying with the in-laws and they can't work from there, so they need somewhere a bit more peaceful, or maybe they're on holiday and they kind of alternate looking after the kids. So I've got someone coming in a couple of weeks, and, you know, they've booked every day, but they're like, it'll be one of us, so it'll either be one person or the other, and they'll decide each day who comes in. And they've been like twice before, and so again, I'm actually away that week, so because they've been before, I'm kind of comfortable I'll make sure someone's in the first day they arrive again, and then remind them like where the lockbox is, and, you know, they're kind of free to kind of come and go as they please. And they almost form part of the community, like other people start to remember them as well, which is really nice. So even though they might only come once or twice a year, yeah, I think they almost get excited to come back sometimes as well.
I've had situations like that in different, like, people, even when we had the space in Euston, like, people would come in, they'd come from, you know, other places of the UK, and they come and do the meetings in Euston. So there's always like this, like, oh, hi, you know, how have you been? You know, like all that little chit chat is just, you know, it's something nice about it. I really appreciate people popping in, return visitors who aren't part of the whole mainframe, but they look
We're
forward to it.
also we're in the middle of the country, so we've had 2 or 3 like remote organisations that have basically, they've got somebody who lives in Manchester and someone who lives in Sheffield or someone who lives in Birmingham, and we're kind of in the middle. And so sometimes they'll book a couple of desks or 2 or 3 desks, and it's a small team getting together to meet in person, and we're kind of this middle point, so they each travel to us, which is quite nice as well.
So how did they know? Because there must be so many people that do that, and they go to a Hilton hotel or a Best Western lobby or something. Like, how do they know about you? How do they find you to be able to do that?
So I think a lot of it is Google. So because I am quite rural, there are other co-working spaces, but there aren't that many. And so if they were to Google co-working in Derbyshire, I'd probably come up pretty high, if not at the top. Same on Instagram, I think. If you kind of Google search on Instagram, kind of co-working in Derbyshire or Peak District or Matlock or whatever, I think I might come up. So it'll often likely be that. I think the other thing is that I find that a lot of the other co-working spaces aren't quite as flexible as I am. Like, even though people have to email me, it's just a case of, you email me, I'll send you an invoice, booking confirmed. Like, it's quite an easy process. Whereas I know there's another one that's not that far away, but you've got to like fill in all these forms, and they want like emergency contact numbers, and I'm like, maybe I'm meant to do that, I don't know. But I know multiple people have told me like, oh, I was going to go to this other one, but they wanted all this information and I just couldn't handle that. It was too much. I just wanted to come and work for an afternoon. So I think that helps too. But yeah.
And then my last little question is like, what, in all that was it 3 years now? So
yeah.
as you've in your co-working journey, like what's your hope for co-working for the next 5 years? And what would you like
co-working as a whole?
Yeah, like
that's a big question, isn't it?
Answer it any way that's easy for you, because I don't want. I just
well, okay. Yeah. Well, I hope that there's more small spaces like ours. I think. I hope that more people become aware of them. I still think there's lots of people who don't know what co-working is, and I think we're sometimes in our co-working bubble. And obviously there's a lot of people out there that do, and so how do people find me? I think the people that find me know what co-working is, and so they'll Google co-working in Derbyshire. But if they were to Google, I don't know, I don't have a meeting room anymore because my meeting room is now part of my co-working, I probably wouldn't come up. And a lot of people maybe wouldn't know what to search. Like, I think I might have told you this when I first opened, but when I was first putting my sign up outside, and it was before I opened, and I think I was painting the window frame, and somebody said, "Oh, what's cow walking?"
Yeah.
Which is, countryside life for you. So there's definitely a bit of, there's still more to be done on. I feel like there's so many more people in Matlock that would benefit from my co-working space, but probably walk past it every day and don't know what it is, or are just maybe too nervous to come in and don't realise what a friendly bunch we are.
I think that is really, really true. Like in I don't know, there's like whatever there's 8 and 9 million people in London nowadays, and there's a thing came out a couple of years ago that said there's 1,336 co-working spaces or places that self-identify as co-working, and that I know loads of people in London that are always looking for members, and I haven't yet met a co-working space in London that's at capacity, and there's probably places that are very full, but they're not like, oh, we're totally full with a waiting list. And that many people imagine how many people out of that, even if there was only 1 million people in London that needed to sit down with a laptop in a shared workspace, and they don't know that they can do it in a place like a co-working space.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's obviously like money comes into it, but I feel like most especially small co-working spaces are really affordable. I mean, I think that's my other bonus, is I think I'm the cheapest in the area. I haven't put my prices up in 3 years. I am considering putting the price up, but only for my day bookings, because they're the ones that take the most work, I guess. And so price comes into it, but like all my regulars from what they've told me, seem very happy with the like value that it brings, and often it makes them more productive, or they get new ideas or more inspired, or whatever it might be. We know all the benefits of co-working, and I guess it's helping people understand that investment as well.
That is that. Well, I was talking about that today. Is people think they're buying a desk, and
yeah,
like, I mean, the thing I always say is, you know, was it 2013 the first time I started paying for a desk in a co-working space? Is because I was at home and I was really lonely and it was awful, and I didn't really understand what was going on, because like the working from home and isolation story wasn't a narrative I'd like researched, because I just thought you could work at home and that was it. But then I started going to a co-working space because the £250 I paid in Hackney for a co-working space but far outweighed, you know, the drink and the everything else. I was Netflix and chocolate cookies and, you know, like all the stuff to compensate for the loneliness was like far outweighed the price of a desk. And also instantly, and so many things I've done over the years, where like writing groups and stuff like that, everyone says that when I'm doing it with other people, I'm way more productive and, you know, alive and on the ball. And
we love doing we love doing joint pomodoros. That's we should rename ourselves to Pomodoro Corner.
I love that geekiness. So Jane, where can we find you in your like 17 projects online? We can put links in the show notes to them all, but shout them out for people that are walking the dog or walking across.
So the main one is probably my Instagram, which I keep the most up to date, is Lowthrop. So that's more about my hiking and my travels, but work as well. And then I'm Coworking Corner on Instagram. Otherwise, it's easiest probably to just Google either Coworking Corner, my name, Jen Lowthrop, or my travel blog, if you're interested in that, is called She Gets Around. So, and I'm writing a lot more about unique places to stay. So lots of like glamping and places like that, and hiking stuff and wild swimming. And there's also international stuff, but I'm trying to do much more kind of local, independent, countryside things. So yeah, it's always there's lots of ways.
I'm always slightly envious of this, because I sort of do nearly the same type of things, and always feel like I'm hanging on by the skin of my teeth. You know, like I could be wild swimming here in the icy waters of Vigo in Galicia. So thank you very much for your time. Say goodbye to everybody.
Oh, bye. Thanks for having me. Lovely to chat.
Before we hang up, folks, thank you for your time and attention today. And I'm going to put a link in the show notes to the the LinkedIn co-working group, which is 7,500 people all around the world talking about co-working. And the problem we're trying to solve at the moment is not enough people are talking about co-working in the LinkedIn co-working group, because everyone's too scared to talk. So don't go in there and post an advert. Go in there and post a conversation, and it says approve your membership, but it's like people like me and Janine and Hector and Ashley and Tony approving your membership. It's not some kind of, you know, Supreme Court judges. So thank you very much. Be careful out there. It is a jungle.